So this is going to be my review for Fury. Came out 2014, so not too old. This one I was pretty interested when it came out, just never got around to seeing it in theater, or, just never made it to my movie queue. Till a little bit ago, I was reading an article about, I think it was talking about how the US doesn't have, like, the most advanced tanks anymore. We did for a really long time, but now there's, I want to say it was a German tank that is being used by a couple countries that's better now. But anyways, reading that article just made me want to rewatch or visit this movie finally. It's been on my list of things to watch. But also, it was a good time to see it because it's written and directed by David Ayer, and he's also the writer-director of the Suicide Squad that's coming out. And so it'd be kind of good to see more of his films. I've seen, not everything, but quite a bit of his films. He got his start actually writing, he wrote the screenplay actually for U-571. It was a World War II submarine movie. It's really good. I've always liked that one. He also did the screenplay for the very first Fast and the Furious, but then he got probably the most notice for writing Training Day. So he wrote that actual the story for Training Day, and that obviously had a lot of attention because of had a lot of Oscar nominations, and Denzel won for that. So, and then after that, he started directing on his own. He did Harsh Times, which I really liked. It has Christian Bale in it, and then he did Street Kings with Keanu Reeves, End of Watch with Jake Gyllenhaal, Michael Pena are in that. I've seen pretty much all of his movies except for after End of Watch and before this movie, Fury. He did Sabotage. I think that actually has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. I didn't watch that one. But anyways, so yeah, I was interested to see another film by him. And this is pretty much a World War II movie revolving around a tank crew. So it's towards the end of World War II. It's 1945. They're in Germany. They're making that final push into Berlin to end the war. And so the main crew is Brad Pitt is the commander of this tank. They call him War Daddy. And then Shia LaBeouf is in there, as well as Michael Pena and John Bernthal. And it starts out, they just got out of a battle, and one of their tank members is dead, so they have to replace him. And he's replaced by Logan Lerman's character, Norman. And so pretty much it's following them, kind of shows you this crew, how close they are, and kind of, a little bit of hazing of Logan's, Norman, sorry, I'll just call him Norman, kind of hazing him, trying to get him into the role. This crew's been together for so long, since Africa, the beginning of the war, and, trying to get this new guy in there and trying to be on their level. So, basically, it's easiest way to say it is like Saving Private Ryan, except you're not just following, that squad on foot. You're following this group in a tank, and their mission, they're going to like a crossroads. They have to protect that, and that's where like all the action happens on the way there, and then when they arrive and stuff. But like I said, a lot of it's mostly about this Norman character, learning about the other guys, kind of who they are, and then how he's interacting with them. And so what I liked about the movie, it has good action. It could have used more, in my opinion. The tank scenes when they're fighting are really good. There's one scene in particular where there's multiple tanks that are fighting another German tank. I can't remember if it was the Panzer tank, the Tiger tank. Germany had two main tanks, and one of them was huge. I want to say it's the Tiger tank. It was a really, really big tank, and it's really well built. So they have to go against that with their smaller U.S. tanks. That seems really cool. There's one at the end that's really good, action scenes. So I really enjoyed the action. I thought that was all done really well. I think it could have actually had more action because it is a war movie. You want to kind of see how... It would have been really nice to see how, as opposed to ground troops or like, there's a bomber movie, the Memphis Belle or um, fighter plane movies. You know, if they could have focused a little bit more on the actual combat portion of of how tanks played a role in World War II. But they mostly focus on Norman coming into this group, and I just really don't like that character that Logan Lerman's playing. He's very much like Opham's character in Saving Private Ryan. Opham was like a reporter or whatever, and he was just kind of a whiny bitch. And Norman is very much that same character. He's supposed to be a typist, and he keeps saying, "I'm not supposed to be here to fight. I'm supposed to be here to type." And he just is like the moral center of the movie, but he's like extremely, like, way too moralistic about everything. And I get it, war's bad. Obviously, you don't want to be killing people, but it just seems weird because at the same time, this is like the very end of the war. It's 1945. He should expect to, if he's going to be going over to Germany, that he might have to fight, And just really dumb. He'd rather die than actually be in combat. It's just really, really weird. He just cries the whole time, and they try to make him like the moral center and everything, and being like correct about this war, but it just doesn't come off correctly. It comes off as he's just whining, and he doesn't want to protect the other guys in his crew. He'd rather just run away or hide or just not be involved at all. It just comes off wrong. I didn't like the way the character is portrayed, and I think some of the other characters you get to learn about them a little bit more, but you mostly are following Norman's progression, so it would have been nice to actually see a little bit more character development of all the other guys. You get a little with Brad Pitt's character, especially because there's a part when him and Norman are going up to in a German apartment where there's two women up there, and they're trying to be civil and stuff like that, and then the other guys come up and they're drunk and they're trying to just be, I don't know, huge assholes and stuff like that. So there's a little bit there, but overall I think the character development was lacking quite a bit in this, and it kind of is probably what brought down the rating for me. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It's a decent movie. It's a decent war movie. Interesting to see this different aspect of it, from a tank personnel point of view. Another thing that, I don't know if it's just like the recording or the video that I was watching, but the audio wasn't very good. All the dialogue was really quiet, and then the action scenes are really loud. And it gets really annoying at times, just because the action scenes and the explosions and the gunfire were so loud. You can't keep the volume at one constant level, because you have to turn it up and down, or turn it up to hear the dialogue and turn it down. Otherwise, you're gonna blow out your eardrums. But I don't know if that was just a recording issue or a video issue that I had. But so yeah, it's an okay war movie. Again, I'll give it a 3 out of 5.